Hello there! Welcome to Cerro Gordo, California. This is my 10th month living up here in this former mining town. I think it was my best month yet. This month had a lot of building renovation, a bunch of mine exploration, some winter weather, and a whole lot more. This is one of the original brothels here at Cerro Gordo. What's underneath these floorboards? I gotta wait for Johnny to get over here. Then we can figure out where we're gonna tie off. So, month 10, and it was a good one. Well, mostly a good one. There was one slight annoying hiccup this month, and that relates to the American Hotel. I still, after 2 months of begging and pleading, can get nobody to deliver concrete to rebuild the hotel here. But I'm working on it. A lot of you guys had amazing suggestions last month of how I can get around using so much concrete. I'm working with my architect and the county to hopefully put one of those solutions into action. But still, if you are willing to get 90 yards of concrete up here, send me a note. I'm serious, I need some concrete. I've been looking for it for a while. 90 yards delivered here at 8,500 feet. If you can do that, you could have the first beer at the American Hotel. How about that? That's a pretty good offer. But otherwise, this month had a lot of progress. This month, I focused on rebuilding 2 of the structures here. The first was one of these little miners' cabins on the hill. Time for a little cabin update. As you can see, the most annoying work has been done. So first, digging down underneath this thing to give some room and also some drainage. But basically this way, you can still use the facade of it, can use the outside while building a full new, you can see some of the foundation blocks. These were recycled, these were already on the property. Almost all of this wood is recycled. I mean, imagine this view. The view's just coming to shape up. As I was out here, cutting in this road, which now has been extended pretty far out, as you might be able to see, created this little porch area. So the idea is now, get this built. So put down a floor, come in here, use plywood inside and insulation. And so that way we can make a decent interior. Use some of that wood that I pulled out of the mine for down there, and then build a 6 to 8 foot deck right here. So imagine the deck coming out to approximately here. And then you could sit here. That'd be your views every night. There'd be a little bit of extra area, maybe for like a bird feeder, or maybe even a little bit of a garden if we can get the water more situated. And these are just some of the things found digging into it. When we were digging, we found all sorts of interesting stuff. And I think once this is done, it'll get me a little bit more confidence in building stuff to go move to maybe that cabin or, the cabin down there. And this month was particularly good because I got a little help one weekend. Jay and Steve came down from Sacramento, and they are just pros. And they gave me a hand on the middle cabin. And what we ended up doing is basically taking the whole thing apart, numbering each board so I could put it back together how it usually looked, and just rebuilding it from scratch. All right, out here, great views. Found another one of the Cerro Gordo cabins with some wood. So I'm gonna use this as a siding in that little cabin that I'm rebuilding. It's quite a hike to get this stuff, but the cabin it was in was already falling down, so it would have just been lost to the elements anyways. So, get my exercise in, watching a beautiful sunset, carrying some wood. You might be wondering, what happened to the cabin? It's a good question, but what you see is actually a good thing. So as I started doing this and taking it apart, nothing was structural. So I could have made it basically as a campsite, or as you can see, took this approach to take off the walls, actually make this a structurally sound building that will last 100, 200 years, and then facade it back with the old building. So that's what we're gonna do. I think everything here at Cerro Gordo, I try to think about longevity, not just how can this thing last 10 years, but how can this thing last 200, 300 years? Because my hope is that Cerro Gordo is here, 2, 3, 4, 500 years from now, people are coming here. So if that's the case, Took a little bit more work, but don't be scared because it's going to look very similar as it did. But here's what was done. I showed before digging down. Now, we had these concrete piers. So we took those, raised the building up a little bit. There's insulation now underneath it. And this is going to be the most insulated building at Cerro Gordo. There's basically no insulation. So, as you can see now, extremely solid base. What's going to happen now is down here, there is old tongue and groove wood that will go back on to make the floor look beautiful. There'll be an additional window added here, and so that will be the view, and the door will be over here instead of on the front, and the front will have windows, and it'll be a nice warm spot. And don't worry, all the original wood is right over here, and it's in order. So there's numbers and letters written on here, as you can see up there. See 9? That's all this siding can go back on, and it'll look like it did before when it's blended in. So, it looks like a lot more than I got into. I think that's kind of the that's a summary of Cerro Gordo in total, a little bit more than you thought you were getting into. But this fireplace will be preserved. Put some sheet metal out here, and that fireplace will be there. It'll be a nice little cabin that hopefully will stand for hundreds of years. Whenever you're rebuilding old structures, it brings up a lot of interesting questions, right? It brings up the question, how much of a building needs to remain for it to be the same building? If you change a window, is that the same building still? Okay, if you change 2 windows, is it still the same building? Let's say you change 2 windows, replace the roof, and fix part of the floor. Is that still the same building? Let's say that you replace all of the windows, the whole roof, and the whole floor, and 1 wall, but you do that over the course of 30 years. Is it still the same building? It's stuff I think about a lot, and there are questions that I don't take lightly. And I think when you see structures that are falling over, it's a very interesting question, because a lot of times the best solution there is to completely take these things apart, replace everything inside, and then put the old wood back on side so this thing can stand for a long time. That's not an easy question. There's a lot of different philosophies around it. Bodie is a California state park just up the road. And their strategy, their philosophy is a thing called arrested decay. They came out with this term in the 60s to essentially say, hey, we are not going to stop the decay of these buildings. We're not going to rebuild anything. There'll be no new structures, no new roofs, no new windows. We'll prop something up if it's structural and it could hurt somebody. But beyond that, we're going to let nature run its course. And I don't think that's the right move. Here at Cerro Gordo, I'm taking a different approach. I am not going to stand by and watch these buildings turn into dust. I think that's a very short-term mindset. And so if you think about it in a longer timeline, Bodie's not going to be around in 1,000, 2,000 years. It'll be turned into dust, and it'll be a discussion point about a town that used to be there. And so for me, I try to zoom my focus out and look at historical structures around the world. And if you look at Japan, it's really interesting. There are monuments there. The majority of their monuments there, the majority of their temples there have been rebuilt almost completely over the years. There's various fires there that took down some of their most sacred temples, and these things were rebuilt. And now for thousands of years, people have been able to enjoy that space. There's a building there that's known as the oldest standing wooden structure in the world. But if you really dig into it, you'll find that only about 15% of the building is truly original. But that doesn't take away from the fact that thousands and thousands of people have been able to go to that building, enjoy the history, learn about it, and learn about all sorts of related histories because of that. And they've been able to do that for 1,000 years. There's another temple there that every 20 years, no matter what, they take apart the temple and rebuild it and make it stronger. And it's this huge celebration. There's this whole energy around it, and everybody celebrates when they rebuild the temple. And they've been doing that for 2,000 years. Think about if 1,000 years ago they decided, nope, you know what? We're gonna do this arrested decay. We're gonna let this thing turn into dust. We wouldn't be talking about it today. And many, many generations would have never been able to experience the beauty of the history in the building. And so for me, I try to thread that line. I don't want to land on either of those extremes. You know, we're not going to be really building Lola's Palace of Pleasure every 20 years, but at the same time, I'm not going to stand by and watch it turn into dirt. I think about these things a lot, you know, and when push comes to shove, when I see a building, my goal, my hope is to reuse every single part of that building that I can. Any scrap of wood, no matter how rotten, I try to incorporate into the building, but reinforce these buildings so they're standing, you know, 100, 200, 500, 2,000 years from now, and so many more people can learn about the history of the town through those buildings. That's what's important to me. That's kind of where I stand. And I think this month was the first time I really had to kind of test that theory. You know, I was up against renovating 2 buildings that would have fallen down otherwise. So renovations was big this month. It was a really exciting time for me. I really love seeing that. It's just something beautiful about seeing something come to life. And so related to that, right behind me, I can see it, you can't, is Lola's Palace of Pleasure. Welcome to what remains of Lola's Palace of Pleasure. This is one of the original brothels here at Cerro Gordo, and it was owned by a woman named Lola Travis. And she was kind of the enterprising woman back in the day. She owned a number of businesses here and down in Lone Pine. And back in the day, there used to be 3 of these cribs. So you imagine one of these is standing, there used to be 2 here and then 3. And these doors in between the rooms are for safety. So if the girls heard in the next room some issue, they would go over with a gun, take care of it. And as you can see over the years, it's pretty much been collapsed. And even this final crib, you know, if this isn't stabilized, it's going to suffer the same fate and end up just as scrap wood. So my most recent project is to restore it. Not necessarily to its original operational use, but I think that it's an important building to get going again, or at least restore to the point where it's not lost to the elements. And so since the hotel project is still on hold, I got time for more projects, and this is going to be one of them. The other interesting thing that I think about is this. Think about this. So this flooring was part of the original brothel flooring, and think about how many men came through here. And see the little cracks? What could be underneath there? So today, what I'm going to do is start clearing this wood and staging it over here. You can see I started yesterday and already found a couple things, but today, clear this down, get it prepped, try to save as much wood as I can, and then get into the process of, rebuilding it, restoring it a little bit. So that way when people come, there's more to look at than just this one tiny little falling down crib. Hopefully it's the full building again. And around here, basically all of these flat spots used to be something. So up here used to be a huge hotel called the Cosmopolitan Hotel. These days it's overgrown, you can't see anything, but you can see the cribbing. So there used to be a reason to keep up the dirt. And if you walk up here, boom, tons of wood. You know, this is too far gone. This isn't going to be restored, but maybe if I need some more wood for over there, I'll borrow it from here. And same thing, you know, if I start digging around in this wood, you know, who knows what you're going to find? Maybe some treasure. You know, I've never found a gold coin here at Cerro Gordo, or any coins, I should say. And I've only ever heard of one coin ever being found here. So I think today's as good a day as any to break out that metal detector and see if we can't find some things. All right, getting a little more cleared. I think one of the things I'm most excited about is just, what's underneath these floorboards? I got a metal detector recently, and it's like a pinpointer. Look at that, boom. Right off the bat. I want to spend a couple of days just going underneath this floor, because this guys must have dropped stuff down there, you know? Find some treasure, find some coins. Some kind viewer sent me a metal detector, and so I took that out for a couple of days. I've been exploring. I'm gonna go right along this one floorboard that was already gone first. Then I'm gonna slowly remove the floorboard next to it and check under the floor first, just because I think everywhere else probably been pretty searched, but it appears these have been down, you know, since they've been down. So I'm gonna go underneath the floor. I got my pinpointer and the actual metal detector. I had this sifting thing to sift through them. So far I found a bunch of nails and a button, but fingers crossed, today's the day we find that coin. It's too early to tell what treasures may be there, but I'm finding some pretty cool stuff, and that's always really exciting to me. Looks like a building again. The hope is this becomes part of the tour. And out here, as I said I was gonna do, taking up the floorboards and currently metal detecting, hunting, searching for any treasures that might be down there. But don't worry, the original floors are going back. They're over here, and they're all numbered, as you can see, for the rebuild. But the floor joists need some work, so we're gonna make those, recreate the floor, create a building again, and Lola's will be standing once again. And who knows, in the meantime, I'm hoping some more treasures are down here. There's all sorts of stuff. You can see like, look at all these old boots, Prince Albert tins, of course. And then yesterday, I was sifting through underneath the building, all sorts of weird old stuff. So, I'm gonna continue today, including the tiniest scrap of denim that came from underneath this building. So you never know. Maybe that's where the jeans are. And if you look, all the nails in this building are all the square nails. So, a lot of progress being made. I can't wait for this thing to be standing again and hopefully create it so it stands for another 100 years or so. Next, this month, we got our first big snowstorm. Luckily, it didn't stick around too long. Like right now, you can see there's not much left on the ground. It's beautiful out right now. It's calm, it's warm. You can probably take off this jacket even, and that's beautiful. But I love the first snow of the year. You know, the first real snow of the year is gorgeous. The snow insulates the ground and makes it even quieter than it normally is up here. You start seeing trails that you never see when there's not snow on the ground. You start seeing animal tracks in areas that you thought had no life. You know, I've seen bobcat tracks, rabbit tracks, little mouse tracks everywhere. And that's super cool to see. It's just always fun to have the first real big snow of the year. Plus, an important and exciting update this month is, of course, the Union Mine. Getting into the main Union Mine without using the hoist has become my obsession, my white whale of sorts, so to speak. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to explore the mine properly without having people wait up top. You know, I want to be able to spend 5-6 hours down there without people having to twiddle their thumbs and spend their days waiting on me. And so to do that, I need to be able to get in without having to use the cage that goes down. So I've been exploring a lot of options. And most recently, I've been attacking the 0 level. And the 0 level is the level directly behind the Cerro Gordo mine. Pretty much every time before I go back into a mine, I try to do as much research about it as I can. I imagine sometimes it looks like I'm being quite careless back in the mines, but I am taking quite a few precautions. Probably not as many as I could, but I really try to understand where I'm going, where I'm trying to go, and any type of research that I can find in advance. And so today, I know that we're gonna go into the 0 level that hopefully connects down either to the 86 or to the 200. And so I'm reading everything I can from this geology report about the 0 level and the 86 level and then the 200 and how they all connect. And then I have a general claims map here that goes through some of the different topography too. So right now I'm just kind of brainstorming. It helps both calm my nerves and gets me even more excited before we go in there. So today I'll be going to the 0 tunnel. And you go back, there's timbers. That's the main Union shaft there. So the hoist is there, not going there, but trying to get there by going here. And so if you go back, I remember going off, exploring to the left, going back, exploring around some more, and then finding a winze. And a winze is a minor connection between levels of the mine. So ladders, imagine between mine levels. So what this doesn't show is it doesn't show where this is leading. And as I was looking through this geology report, it showed winzes or connections to different levels of the mine. So I went down there recently. And look at what we have here. Is this the Union Mine? And I came upon this stope, and it was beautiful. I looked down, and it looked like it to the right, it connected into the mine, and to the left, it connected into the mine. Unfortunately, I was by myself, so I had to bring back support. I had to wait till a weekend that my friend Johnny could get here. So Johnny arrived, we geared up, and we went to get into the mine. All right, we're off, Johnny. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Doing all right. It's a little early. We got our gear, got some lights. Today's the day. Denim jeans. All of them.
How far did you go down this?
Just to there. How are you gonna get back up?
You just climb back up. Why, you want me to put a rope on?
Yeah, I'll put a rope. I think we start with the other one though. I think the other one is a guarantee. The other one's the first one I went down. So the rope's already there. Let's just do that one.
Okay.
And then if that one leads nowhere, we can go back over there. All right. And we're back to the site of my Minecraft disaster.
That was here, huh?
It's right there.
Alright.
So head down. So there's already, the black is 100, that gets us to the bottom already. And then there's another one down there. And then we'll figure out how to tie off from there.
So, I need to bring this.
But winds, see how it says winds? Do you know what winds means?
Uh-huh.
Winds means connection between two levels of the mine. So you'd imagine that if it says winds here,
Yeah.
then this is a connection between two levels of the mine.
Maybe someone's just baiting us.
Yep, trolling us.
Take only what you need from the rope.
Yep.
Not too much slack.
Yeah.
Control.
I'll see you down there.
Control yours.
That's a crazy view, huh? With all those ladders. Imagine these guys back in the day just like doing all this way down here. It's insane. Almost to the bottom. We'll see. All right, so Johnny's coming down now. I'm back to where I got, and then I want to show you guys a little bit more with better light than last time where it connected. So this is where I thought it connected, got really excited. Was not the case. If you go up and over this way, see if you keep going up there. See, from this angle, it looks like it just ended right there. What do we know now? It goes down, and that's what we want. I was pretty defeated the last time I was right here. But then, see, even there, it looks like it just ends, but no. It curves down to the right and drops down. And that's that. See how it goes down that way a lot of ways? Another ladder over that way. I gotta wait for Johnny to get over here. Then we can figure out where we're gonna tie off. What we might need to do is tie off back over where that ladder was, because maybe a 60-foot stretch to here. But you don't want a rope just laying on sharp rock, but this doesn't look too sharp. It's a big light. See? So see over there? It's almost like that's a shaft. And you look and it slopes down. And we go to that edge where there's ladders and stuff down there. So there's a lot to explore here. Imagine go to that ledge, then we can kind of rope down. But this could be it. This is the moment. And I mean, right down there, that could open up into every level down to the 700. Fingers crossed, let's hope. So that's where we are with the rope. That's where we need to go. Yeah. The next level that you have to go down, it was a little bit sketchy because it was free rappelling. You know, there's nothing to hold on to. You're just trusting the rope all the way down. You good? Let's take it slow.
I hope so. I just don't weigh enough for this to just
Automatically go.
Wait. Oh, come on.
Careful on that beam.
Can't see where I'm going. Can you shine down there?
Yep.
Thank you.
There you go. Spider-Man. And we're here. Now it's time to explore. There's two ways that it possibly could connect. You could look one way and there looked to be a little maze of mines, and then back up there looked to be another mine. So we got down there, explored towards the first area.
All right, that's not, yeah.
All right, well, we'll try the other side then. Went down, looked like it was gonna connect into something bigger, and nothing. There you go. It's back. So we came from up there, came down here, nothing that way. So one other option is up this little incline. We're just worried about this rock sliding down. So we have the rope up on the ledge.
I don't know, man. Okay, I'm gonna go up a little. Ooh. Okay.
I don't think it goes in here.
Oh, no.
There's one there. So no dice. Nothing this way either. So we head back down.
Damn it.
No dice. Nothing this way either. So we head back down.
Ooh. Avalanche.
Doing all right now. A little dusty.
All right. Well, I'll let you climb up first.
So unfortunately, what I thought was the connection I've long searched for is in fact not a connection. But that's okay. You know, I think if I would have found it, then that quest is over for me. You know, some of this excitement in the quest is part of the most fun part of it. You know, I think it's important for all of us to have these white whales, so to speak. You know, hopefully they don't kill you, but something that you're passionate about, you know, that gets you energized, that gets that curiosity and wonderment around it. It just kind of brings you to life. And so for me, that's continuing to try to find entry points into the Union Mine. And I have more leads. Don't worry, I'm not giving up. No. There's many more potential opportunities to get into the Union Mine. But for now, it remains a quest. It remains that thing I hunt for. Another bust. Seems at the 0 level, it does not connect into the main mine. It might have at one point, or it did at one point, but it's all collapsed now. Pretty tiring, kind of jumaring up and down. So I'm gonna take all this off and the hunt continues, as always. Goat update. They're all alive and well. Elon is becoming a big little boy. He likes to headbutt me now a lot more than he used to. But that's okay. If I have food, everything is forgiven. Tofu is still the star of the show. She looks the best. Tofu, you're the star. Elon, you're the boy. Other goat. They got their winter fur. If you look close. Thick. Warm. Beautiful goats. Biggest update in goat world is a heated bucket. Their water kept freezing, so some very nice viewer sent me a heated bucket. So as you can see, no more frozen water for these guys. Tofu, you happy? Tofu, what do you think? A word? Please, just a word. They're busy. Finally this month, I've been doing a lot of just beautiful drives at night. I've made it a point to just check out towards the end of the day, leave my phone behind, and just go rip around on the Razor. And there's a road called a salt tram right there. That's a 30-mile loop. And about 6 miles into it, there's the old tram station that used to help take salt from Saline Valley and into Owens Valley. But before you get there, there's a meadow with about 1 mile stretch of just straight shot. And there's just the right amount of snow on it where you slip and slide a little bit as you're going over it. So almost every night this month, I've gone out on the Razor and just ripped it, 30, 40 miles an hour down that. And it's just amazing. I smile like nothing else when I'm over there. And so this month I've really been enjoying the nature too, which has been important to me. And so I've really loved doing that. And this cabin is owned by the BLM. So there's a little guest registry in it. This is all new since the last time I was here. You can tell they're modern stuff. That's cool. Somebody's putting the time into fixing it up a little bit. Look at that. Right? Almost every night over the past month, I've made it a point to come up here and just watch the sunset. And I don't know what it is about the high desert and winter sunsets, but they're some of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had. And when I'm up here, I just try to appreciate any progress, no matter how small. For me, it's very easy sometimes to get wrapped up in specific projects and specific goals. And in this case, that means the American Hotel. So all I dream about all day is the American Hotel being open and the opening party and, people from all over the world congregating and meeting each other and getting to experience Cerro Gordo. And when bumps happen, I get very wrapped up in it. And so every night this month, I've come up here just to watch the sun go over the mountains and try to recount any progress that happened that day. Whether that's the miners' cabins, Lola's, or even the mine exploration. Because every mine that doesn't lead in is one I can cross off the list. And it's important, Cerro Gordo is a project that's gonna be decades of my life. And every step forward every day is making this place a little bit better. And that's been important for me. And I have to remind myself that almost every day, I have to make it a point to unplug, which seems crazy. If you live in a abandoned ghost town by yourself, why do you need to make it a point to be even less available? But I do. I think last month I found myself very much getting wrapped up in being online, connecting with everybody, always being available. And it wasn't good, it just left me in a different position. So this month I make it a point to be completely unavailable around this time of day and just come up here, sit and reflect and dream of, how many sunsets I'm gonna get to be able to sit on this rock and watch. And appreciate you guys checking out this, being able to share this experience with you. And I hope one day many of you get to come up, sit on this exact rock, and look at the sunset I'm looking at right now. Because I promise you, it might look good on camera. Looks a lot better in person. So I hope you guys have a good week. I will see you guys next time. And until then, I hope you appreciate all the progress in your life, no matter how small. So until then, I'm signing out. I'm gonna watch the sun go down, and I'll catch you guys next time.